So this is a parallel reasoning question, and there are a couple of techniques that you can use to match conditions or variables or degrees of certainty between the stimulus and the answer choices. I like to really match the conclusions. I also like to match the categories that they're discussing here. So in this case, there's not really a category of people like most people versus some people versus all versus none, but we do have instead the expert being certain, and this expert is a relevant expert. So it's not as if we have a doctor making claims about the likelihood of earthquakes. Doctors are experts, but not in the category of earthquake science. But here we have Wells, who is knowledgeable about the concert business, making claims about the concert business. That's why I say Wells is a relevant expert. Then we also have the conclusion here. The concert was probably not properly promoted. So I would look to check the answer choices against these two things and look for violations between the stimulus and the choices so we could potentially eliminate some things. Now, A and B both have our domain experts, our relevant experts, Dr. Smith and Professor Willis, saying probably versus Wells, who was certain. So that is not a match in the degree of certainty of our domain expert here. Wells was certain. Smith and Willis in A and B are saying probably, which is weaker, not a good match. So for that reason, I would eliminate A and B off the bat. C, we have our expert, the neighbor, who's an experienced home renovator, saying confidently would not be noticeable. Then the conclusion saying probably not properly done. So C appears to be a good match on both of these things. I would leave it alone and move on. I would go through all 5 choices because sometimes it might be good on certain things but not good on other things. I would look to eliminate D and E before confidently choosing C. Looking at D here, we do have the builder, domain expert, confident. We also have probably in the conclusion. Anyone see issues with D though?
Yeah, I'm not talking about whether or not the expert is right. It's saying the builder was probably wrong. Yeah, it's not educated guess.
Yeah, excellent. So basically, yeah, you're absolutely right. So D is talking about the builder being wrong. In the stimulus, they weren't concerned with evaluating the expert themselves. They were concerned with the conclusion of the expert. Excellent. So D is out for that reason. Then what about E? Yes, Professor Yanakita is certain. That's good. E says probably in the conclusion there. So that's okay also. But there's another way that they don't match up.
I think like D, E is probably evaluating the conclusion again.
Wasn't that she got it right and the person in the stimulus got it wrong?
Well, did the person in the stimulus get it wrong? No, they didn't get it wrong. They had the qualifier unless it was poorly promoted. So Wells was okay, and I don't think E is evaluating Yanakita in particular. It's evaluating the claim, but it's reversing the variables. It says tests would find lead if properly conducted. Since they did find lead, probably properly conducted. It's switching around the lead and the properly conducted. It's flipping them. So it's a reversal of sorts, not a good match, leaving us with C by elimination. It's tough. When you see a parallel that's number 19, I do want you to feel okay skipping that one, coming back to it later, saving it for last. You're reading the length of 6 stimuli to get the value of 1 point. It may not be the best investment of your time. If it's a question number 9, it's likely a simpler method of reasoning, but given the general order of difficulty in logical reasoning, a number 19's gonna be tougher. It's okay to skip it and come back at the end since it will take more time typically.